Divine Secrets Revealed. 12 Miraculous Steps to Manifest Your Sacred Self. As an empath, Agnes stood at the cusp of a stormy evening, her heart racing. The air hummed with an invisible current, as if the heavens were about to spill forth a great secret. She whispered prayers that danced around her like fluttering doves. Today, she felt the unmistakable energy of divine intervention. Her son Samuel, only 10, was fighting a mysterious illness that no doctor could diagnose, draining hope from her heart like water leaking from a cracked vase. She needed faith, and she needed it now to as the village prepared for the vibrant St. Michael's Day celebration. Banners fluttered and laughter spilled into the streets, but Agnes bore a heavy heart. Surrounded by eager villagers, she felt like a lone ship tossed about on turbulent seas. Her spirit, so often a beacon, flickered under the weight of her fears. Only she could sense the storm brewing within. Just as the sun dipped behind thick, black clouds, Agnes gathered her prayer group, believing fervently that their unified faith could summon healing. With each whispered prayer, supernatural things began to happen. The candles flickered as if kissed by unseen breaths, and shadows danced solemnly around them. Agnes felt warmth wrap her like a loving embrace. More than once, she thought she caught the scent of her grandmother's lavender, a reminder of the wisdom she imparted in times of trial. But doubt crept in, whispering that perhaps even prayers could falter. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As Agnes sought every remedy from herbalist to healer, the pressure built with each turn of despair. She felt trapped, every effort resulting in fleeting illusions of healing that only deepened her frustration. The village, keen to support her, rallied with prayers but couldn't erase the shadows clinging to her heart. With each passing day, her faith wavered, swelling around her like dark waters pulling her under. Then came the night of the storm. The wind howled a cacophony, rattling the windows, as Agnes trudged the familiar path home. It was then that the world around her began to shift. The lightning cracked through the sky, illuminating her path, and in that flashing light, she felt a presence, a surge of palpable love. Memories of her grandmother's wisdom poured over her. Divine interventions don't always appear as we hope, she had said. The revelation washed over her like rain after drought, igniting a flicker of hope in her weary heart. Agnes knew she must return to her community, share her experience, and inspire others to lift their spirits. Samuel's small hand would soon hold hers again, strengthened by the miracle of faith shared. And amidst the swirling uncertainty, the promise remained. Would her struggles lead her to the profound transformation she sought before the village gathered to celebrate St. Michael? The answer lingered just out of reach, a divine mystery waiting to unfold. As dawn broke the next day, a hush fell over the village. The storm had passed, but the air held a lingering freshness, as if the sky had washed away the weight of despair. Agnes rose early, the sun's rays peeking through the curtains, casting soft light upon her face. She closed her eyes, inhaling deeply. Hope bubbled within her like a stream bursting forth after the rain. Determined, she prepared to meet her prayer group again. This time, she carried a testament of transformation within her heart, a knowing that whatever darkness encroached, divine hope illuminated the path. The village square was adorned for St. Michael's Day, colors vibrant, laughter echoing like music on the wind. Agnes felt the magnetic pull of joy, though it danced on the edge of her anxiety. Could her moment of divine revelation pave the way for healing Samuel? Gathering her friend beneath the oak tree, she revealed her nighttime encounter. Their eyes widened, reflecting the glimmer of possibility. It is not just our prayers, but faith that binds them, she declared, voice trembling with inner strength. God's hands are at work even when we cannot see. They nodded eagerly, hearts stirred by her words, and their prayers took on renewed fervor. The group joined hands, and, as they prayed, the fragrance of lavender filled the air once more. Agnes felt tears spring forth, not of sorrow but of release. Belief transcends our understanding, she whispered, her voice blending with the wind. In that moment, something shifted, a powerful energy enveloping them, as if angels themselves had descended to listen. The world around them faded. It was just them and the divine presence, wrapping them in a silken web of grace. God is not finished with us yet. Agnes exhaled, warmth flowing through her, each heartbeat syncing with a divine rhythm. One of her friends, a gentlewoman named Eliza, squeezed her hand tightly. What if Samuel is to be part of this miracle? Eliza said, her eyes sparkling with revelation. Hope stirred in Agnes' heart like a newly opened blossom. She pictured Samuel's small, hopeful face, the spark in his eyes that had once held such vibrancy. But doubt whispered again, what if the healing doesn't come? In that moment of vulnerability, Agnes realized, true faith requires surrender. It invites uncertainty while firmly clasping the promise of grace. If I can surrender this burden, God will carry it for me, she thought. As the day unfolded, villagers began to gather for the festivities. Laughter and music intertwined with the scent of roasted meats and baked goods. Yet, Agnes' heart drummed louder, resonating with the questions that danced within her, a mix of fear and faith. Would Samuel feel the warmth of this celebration? The familiar tug of worry threatened to drown her joy, but she resisted, allowing the prayers from the night before to wash over her like gentle waves. It begins with us, she reminded her friends. If we believe, others will too. Just then, an unexpected hush enveloped the crowd as the sun broke fully free of the clouds, bathing them all in golden light. Agnes lifted her eyes to the sky, feeling the warmth wrap around her soul. A whisper echoed in her heart. The moment of divine intervention is near. With newfound determination, she turned toward the village. Would the power of faith ignite a transformation that would reach Samuel? Every moment felt charged with anticipation. Could it be that this day would mark a turning point for them all? As the revelry continued, Agnes kept her gaze upward, sensing that the profound promise of divine love and healing was closer than she ever dared to hope. But what awaited them at the heart of the celebration? Would Agnes's faith be enough to invite the miraculous? The sun hung high in the sky, brightening every corner of the village. Laughter bubbled like a brook, and children raced between the stalls, joy glimmering in their eyes. Yet Agnes felt a wave of peace mingling with her earlier anxiety. With every heartbeat, her trust deepened. This is the day, she whispered to herself, stepping further into the warm embrace of celebration. As she moved through the crowd, she absorbed the love that surrounded her. Strangers greeted one another with kindness. Everyday worries seemed to fade. Every interaction felt sacred, as if God himself were smiling from above, blessing them with warmth and unity. But the edge of her joy lingered the constant thought of Samuel. How could she share this light with him, who lay confined in the shadows of despair? Agnes paused near a stall overflowing with flowers. The vibrant colors beckoned her closer, and she picked a dainty white blossom. A token of faith, she thought, slipping it into her pocket. She could almost hear the petals whispering encouragement. Trust and believe. Agnes, a voice called out, pulling her from her reverie. It was Matthew, his eyes alight with excitement. Have you seen the preparations for the blessing ceremony tonight? He leaned closer, a conspiratorial smile on his lips. They say a miracle may be in the air. Miracle? She echoed, her heart quickening. What do you mean? They're going to light candles in the church, each representing a prayer for healing. They say if the flames dance brightly, our pleas will soar to heaven. His voice danced with the thrill of possibility in that moment. A flicker of hope ignited within her. Could they gather the community's prayers, sealing them in unwavering faith? Yes, she exclaimed, determination bubbling to the surface. We must gather everyone. This could be our chance. Count me in. Matthew grinned, and together they wove through the villagers, sharing the news. More hearts joined the cause. Word spread. Hope blossomed like wildflowers in spring. Tonight we rise, Agnes declared, weaving her words with warmth. Tonight we trust. As dusk fell, the villagers began to fill the church. The scent of candle wax mingled with fragrant incense, creating an atmosphere thick with expectation. Agnes stood at the front, her heart pounding. The flickering light from hundreds of candles cast beautiful shadows, and the air felt electric with prayer. One by one, our prayers rise, she murmured, feeling the presence of something greater. The villagers stood together, voices lifted in unity. Each name spoken, every hope declared, filled the sacred space with fervor. And then came Samuel's name, breaking through the air like a delicate whisper. We pray for Samuel at that moment. A soft wind swept through the open windows, stirring the flames of the candles into a joyous dance. The light formed a kaleidoscope of colors, illuminating their faces. Gasps filled the room. Even Agnes sensed the divine presence wrapping around them, as if angels hovered nearby. This is it, Agnes thought, her spirit soaring. If only Samuel could feel what they felt now, the warmth, the faith, the overwhelming love of a community united. Suddenly, a radiant light flooded the room, bathing everyone in its holy glow. Shocked gasps turned into murmurs of awe. Agnes closed her eyes, surrendering to the moment. God, please let Samuel feel this light. What if this was the transformational moment she had longed for? She could almost feel Samuel's small hand clasp her own, sharing in this sacred experience. But just then, something shifted in the air, a stirring of energy. What is happening? She wondered, uncertainty creeping in alongside her hope. She opened her eyes to find that the flames of the candles flickered wildly, casting dramatic shadows on the walls. Was it a sign? A call to deeper faith? As eyes widened and whispers rose, a thought emerged. What divine secret was being unveiled this night? Could they grasp the fullness of what God was doing? Agnes's heart raced with the realization that tonight's ceremony was not just about prayers, it was about awakening a powerful revelation. The moment pulsed with holy anticipation. Would this night reveal the miracle she had been praying for? Or would it ask them to step into a faith deeper than they had ever known? The room held its breath. Each flickering candle seemed like a heartbeat, pulsing with the hopes and prayers that filled the air. Agnes looked around and saw faces illuminated by the divine light. Eyes sparkled with belief, and she felt a bubbling excitement at the center of her being. What could be in store for us? She pondered as the winds sang softly through the open windows. Agnes felt a warmth enveloping her. It wasn't just the glow of the candles. It was a touch that thawed the very essence of her soul. Each inhale brought in the fragrance of faith, and each exhale released her worries like petals on the breeze. She sensed the deep need for Samuel's healing coursing through the room. Woven into the fabric of the gathering, in the corner, old Mara, the village matriarch, began to sway gently, her hands raised and trembling. It's the spirit, she whispered, her voice trembling with reverence. He's here with us. And as she spoke, the congregation hushed, letting the swell of connection wash over them. The energy pulsed as if the very ground spoke of promises yet to come. Agnes watched as the light intensified, casting ethereal patterns across the walls. Prayers took on a life of their own, whispering between the flames. Each flicker carried their hopes higher. Oh, Samuel, Agnes thought, feel this love, feel this light. Then, with a sudden surge, the flames danced higher, casting long shadows that twisted and turned like ethereal figures. It was as if the saints of old had come to join their prayers. Gasps and murmurs erupted as these shadows flickered across the faces of the believers, igniting wonder in their hearts. "Look," someone cried, pointing towards the altar. There, among the flickering flames, a soft glow emerged, brighter than any candle, softer than the dawn. The light seemed to breathe, pulsing gently, calling each heart to rise. Agnes felt a wave of courage wash over her. "This is a moment that demands our faith to match its power," she declared, her voice ringing clear above the stirring emotions. "Let us lift our voices together for Samuel. Let us call forth healing with all we've got." Encouraged, the villagers raised their hands, their voices lifting in a chorus echoing through heaven. "Samuel! Samuel! Samuel!" echoed the church. Each name was spoken with increasing fervor, every utterance a brush against the heavens. In that sacred moment, Agnes felt a connection to something far greater than her own need. A rich tapestry of faith had woven itself amidst the candles, a vivid reflection of the divine community. As she prayed her heart out, she sensed a shift inside her. Could they truly be a vessel for change? Could they call forth the miraculous? Suddenly, in the heart of the glow, a voice arose, low and tender, yet strong like the roar of the sea. "My faithful ones," it beckoned, "your prayers do not falter. They radiate with love, weaving the very fabric of transformation. Healing is upon you." Agnes gasped. The moment was alive with promise, a divine invitation to deepen their faith, to venture into territories of worship and belief that they had only dreamt of before. Yet uncertainty danced hand in hand with her hope. What next? She wondered, her heart racing. Could they hold this gift of healing? Could it change Samuel? Would they dare to follow where the divine light guided them? With the murmurs of the congregation still ringing around her, Agnes felt poised on the edge of a great mystery. Agnes turned to Matthew, whose eyes shone like twin stars in the glow. "Are we ready?" she asked softly, heart pounding with anticipation. But in that instant, a hush fell, an expectant stillness settling over the room. What awaited them beyond this night? What miracles still lay hidden within the sacred shadows? With the air thick with unanswered questions, Agnes held her breath, waiting as the candle flames continued their joyous dance. The room seemed to pulsate with sacred energy. The candles stood like silent sentinels, guarding the secrets of the night. People were transfixed, not just by the light, but by the promise it held. Agnes could feel her heart beating in time with the flickering flames, echoing the fervent chants of the villagers. "Samuel," they called, and every utterance was a prayer woven with intent. Agnes closed her eyes and envisioned Samuel. She pictured him whole, vibrant, bathed in light. The gentle glow pulsating before her felt like a glimpse into the divine tapestry of healing. "Lord, let this light reach him," she prayed silently, her breath coming in soft whispers of belief. Old Mara's voice broke through her thoughts. "Hear the Spirit, my children. There is more to this night than we can understand." Her hands danced as if conducting an invisible orchestra, the air thick with possibility. Agnes opened her eyes just as Mara's gaze became piercing, as if she could see beyond the veil. "What do you see, old one?" Someone from the back dared to ask, the inquiry tinged with awe. Mara smiled gently, her eyes glistening with years of wisdom and faith. "I see threads of hope, murmurings of grace. Can you feel it? Healing flows through this room like a river, endless and alive." With each word, Agnes felt the air shimmer. It was as if the fabric of reality had thinned, allowing them to touch the divine. Whispered prayers became a chorus, enveloping her in warmth, a palpable presence reminding her that they were not alone. "Let us go deeper," Agnes urged the villagers, a fervent fire igniting her spirit. "Join me in surrendering to this moment. We must trust that what we seek is already unfolding." The crowd nodded, eyes widening in belief, and their voices swelled once more. "Samuel! Samuel! Samuel!" Suddenly, a soft wind swept through the space, rustling the candle flames and weaving through their raised arms. It felt like the caress of angels, affirming their collective prayer. Agnes sensed a shift, a tremor of excitement, an assurance that the heavens were attentive, leaning closer to hear their pleas. Agnes looked around the room, noticing the joy blooming on the faces of those gathered. There was vulnerability, yet an unyielding strength pulsed through their unity. Hope was tangible, gaining momentum with every echo. Then, without warning, the growing glow at the altar burst forth into a blaze of radiance, illuminating the dark corners of the room. Gasps filled the air, each pause a witness to something beyond comprehension. "Mara," a voice cried, and Agnes turned to see Matthew stepping forward, eyes wide with wonder. "What is happening?" "The Spirit is manifesting," Mara whispered, awe-tinged droplets of faith spilling from her lips. "Be still and see, for the signs are near." As the light expanded, Agnes felt as if it was enveloping her too, cleansing her doubts, illuminating her fears. It stripped away the layers of anxiety and replaced them with a blossoming courage. Spirit was at work, and they stood on holy ground. There, in the center, a figure formed amidst the light. It had no distinct features, just radiant energy that spoke louder than any words could convey. "Your faith is the key." The voice resonated through the room, echoing deeply within their souls. "Each prayer, each breath, is lifting your beloved Samuel closer toward his miracle." Agnes shivered at the promise, every nerve alive with possibility. But doubt crept at the edges of her mind. Would Samuel feel this power? Would they truly see a miracle unfold? The questions hung heavy, a mix of faith and unknowing. "Master, what do we do next?" she called out, her voice quivering with both excitement and fear. But just then, the light flickered and the voice drew back, leaving only an ether of hope swirling in the air. "Wait and watch," it whispered gently, as if hinting at something unfathomable yet destined. Agnes stood there, heart racing, crowd buzzing with anticipation. The echo of those final words stirred something profound within her. Was this the beginning of something extraordinary? What awaited them in the coming moments? What secrets would unveil themselves in response to their pounding faith? As the candle flames flickered out their last dance, Agnes felt the sweet pull of the unknown, yearning to uncover the mystery that loomed just beyond their reach. The air thickened with anticipation, a blend of hope and wonder swirling around the gathered villagers. Agnes felt every heartbeat as if it resonated like a drum, echoing the universal song of sacrifice and belief. They stood united, spellbound by the shimmering light that had yet to reveal its purpose. A hushed whisper ran through the crowd. Each face was aglow, not just from the radiant presence, but from the shared yearning rooted in their souls. Will we truly witness a miracle? The question hung, almost tangible, as they exchanged glances filled with both fear and courage. "Do you feel it?" Agnes asked, turning to her neighbor, a young woman named Alara. "It's as if the light is pulling at our hearts." Alara nodded, her eyes glistening with tears of joy. "Yes, like a tide washing over me, a gentle wave of hope." Mara stood at the altar, her arms raised as she embraced the moment. "The Spirit is weaving us together, my children. Each of us is a thread in this sacred fabric of love. Are we not witnesses to the divine?" With each soul stirred, Agnes felt the collective power deepen, urging them to raise their voices higher, to summon the miracle they sought. The chants grew louder, stronger, enveloping them like a protective cocoon. "Samuel! Samuel! Samuel!" Each name echoed with fervor, bouncing off the walls, rising toward the heavens. Suddenly, a flicker broke through the center of light, and the atmosphere shifted. The fragrance of jasmine, sweet and pure, filled the room. It danced through the air, wrapping around them, lifting away fears and doubts like fallen leaves on a breeze. Smiles blossomed, illuminating the dim corners of the room where shadows had lingered too long. "Mara!" Matthew exclaimed again, stepping forward with renewed purpose. Do you think our prayers are truly being heard? Will Samuel come back to us? His voice carried with it the weight of desperation, yet also a glimmer of faith. Mara turned to him, her expression soft. In times like this, we must embrace the uncertainty. Trust in the unseen, for God moves in mysterious ways. Agnes felt a surge within her, a wave of understanding washing over her heart. What if our waiting is part of the gift? What if in this moment we are not just asking for Samuel to be healed, but we are being healed ourselves? The villagers turned toward her, struck by the truth of her words. Their faces shone with renewed clarity as realization spread through the gathering like wildfire. They too were part of a miracle unfolding. That's it, Alara said, excitement bubbling in her voice. We're all intertwined in this tapestry. Our belief is nurturing this divine light. Encouraged, the voices swelled again, louder than ever. The walls trembled under the weight of their faith, and the light brightened in response, multiplying the warmth they felt. It was as if the universe rejoiced with them, celebrating their perseverance. Then, like a sudden awakening, Agnes felt a warmth envelop her, a gentle embrace that resonated in her very core. Samuel, she murmured, almost instinctively, I can feel you with us. As if in answer, the light dimmed momentarily, creating a soft halo effect. Shadows darted across the walls, and Agnes sensed movement. A figure began to coalesce in the center, ethereal and serene, tangible yet insubstantial. Have faith, the voice echoed, deeper than anything earthly. For what you seek is nearer than you think. Their breaths caught as belief shimmered in that holy moment. Agnes trembled with awe. Could this be the moment they had prayed for? Yet, just as quickly, the light drew back, leaving them lingering in suspense, urging them to hold on just a bit longer. But what awaited them as they held on to this promise? What threads would soon intertwine to bring forth the unimaginable? A deep silence settled as they prepared their hearts to witness the unfolding of a miracle born from their steadfast devotion. The air was thick with sacred possibility. The villagers held their breath, minds racing between hope and uncertainty. It felt like eternity passed in that single moment of waiting. Agnes could sense the pulsing heartbeat of the crowd surrounding her. Each soul vibrated with anticipation, a collective prayer echoing against the walls, creating a symphony of longing for healing, connection, and divine intervention. Suddenly, the light flared once more, brighter and more intense, bathing them in a warmth that penetrated their very being. A quiet, gasping sound rippled through the crowd, as if nature itself marveled at the spectacle. Agnes's heart raced. Was this the sign they had been praying for? Had Samuel's spirit come closer, ready to embrace their collective faith? Look, Alara pointed, her voice barely a whisper, yet crackling with excitement. Can you see it? Agnes followed her gaze, eyes wide. The luminous figure shimmered with an ethereal grace, radiating an otherworldly light. It felt as if a thin veil had lifted, revealing the divine to their eager eyes. Mara stepped forward, her voice steady, yet laced with reverence. He is here. The presence of Samuel is with us. A wave of emotion crashed over Agnes, overwhelming her heart with warmth. The nights spent in prayer and sorrow were not in vain. God was listening. Samuel, the villagers called out, voices united as one. We are with you. The fervor grew, transforming from murmurs to an anthem of love and devotion. Agnes felt tears welling in her eyes as she joined in, pouring out her heart into the chorus. It was as if the struggles binding them together forged an unbreakable bond. As they chanted, the air shimmered, and Agnes caught fleeting impressions of Samuel's essence swirling around them. She closed her eyes, inhaling deeply. The fragrant jasmine intensified, wrapping around her like a divine embrace. Visions filled her mind, memories of laughter, shared moments, joy dancing in the sun. Samuel was alive within her heart, manifesting through their love. Yet, amid the jubilation, doubt crept in like a thief. But what if he doesn't return to us, fully restored? Matthew's voice trembled with vulnerability. His eyes darted as if searching for reassurance. What if this is all we are meant to feel? Just a glimpse of what once was. Agnes reached out, taking Matthew's trembling hands in hers. Don't let fear dim this sacred light. Whether Samuel stands before us or not, our faith unites us, and that in itself is a miracle. Healing happens in many forms, she said, her words flowing like the gentle stream of hope that connected their souls. As they spoke, the radiant presence flickered, drawing nearer. Agnes felt her heart expand, not just for Samuel, but for the beauty of their unity. In that moment, she understood that miracles didn't always look like what they expected. Sometimes, they whispered softly from within, waiting for belief to give them voice. With this realization, they turned again to face the vision growing brighter before them. In unison, they made their plea once more. Let your light shine, dear Samuel. We believe in the masterpiece of love that binds us all. A gentle breeze swirled around them, caressing their skin, igniting the fervor of their prayers. Every heartbeat became a declaration of faith until the horizon glimmered with possibility. The veil between earth and the divine grew thin, and all felt connected to something greater than themselves. And just when they thought they could see his form fully formed, a gust of wind swept through, scattering the light. Confusion overcame joy as the villagers gasped, eyes flickering with uncertainty. What has happened? Alara whispered, barely keeping her balance. Damara's voice rose above the murmurs, calm yet commanding. Do not lose faith. The moment of divine revelation has not yet come. Hold tight to your hope. Agnes, sensing the power still at play, raised her voice. If it is meant to be, it will be revealed in the right moment. We are here together, never forget that. But as the light faded, shifting shadows whispered secrets on the edge of their perception. What lay on the other side of this experience? And would they gather the courage to uncover it? In the silence that followed, anticipation grew like a flower waiting to bloom. The villagers stood together, hearts racing, knowing that the journey ahead would unfold divine truths they had yet to grasp. A hush descended over the villagers, a palpable stillness that hung in the air, heavy yet hopeful. The question lingered, what next? In that silence, each person wrestled with their own thoughts. Agnes felt a swirl of uncertainty wash over her as familiar faces turned toward her. She sensed a deep yearning beneath their skin. They were waiting for her to guide them, yet there was something greater at play. The light, though diminished, still sparkled like distant stars, whispering hints of promises unfulfilled. Matthew stood close, eyes darting back to where the light had danced. What if it's gone forever? He murmured, the tremor in his voice betraying the courage he sought to hold. Agnes took a deep breath, filling her lungs with the mingling fragrances of jasmine and earth. The light hasn't left us. It's still here within us, pulsing with the need for our faith. She breathed out, her conviction growing as she spoke. Suddenly, the atmosphere shifted. A ripple surged through the crowd like a breeze through tall grass. The villagers leaned closer together, instinctively finding their strength in unity. Agnes raised her arms, palms open, feeling the warmth of their collective energy humming around her. Let us not forget, she said, her voice rising with authority, that the divine operates in ways beyond our understanding. Just because the vision has receded does not mean it has departed. We are still woven together in this sacred tapestry. As her words flowed, something began to stir within the hearts of those gathered. The flicker of doubt gave way to a spark of hope, igniting a shared understanding. The villagers' faces brightened. A chorus of nods and murmurs echoed her sentiments. In that moment, they were drawing together, wrapped in the warmth of shared belief. Alara stepped forward, her eyes clear and vibrant. Perhaps Samuel needs our faith now more than ever. Let us show him we believe in his return, in whatever form it may take, she urged, her passion infectious. "Yes," Mara joined in, raising her hands skyward. "Let us connect not just with hope, but with the certainty that Samuel's spirit is part of our gathering. Every prayer, every thought sends our love soaring to him." In that crescendo of words, Agnes felt the energy shift dramatically, building as each heart opened to the beauty of their collective longing. The air crackled with intention, a divine orchestra reaching out to the heavens. Just as they harmonized in faith, a shimmering light began to reclaim its place, casting glimmers over their upturned faces. Hope returned, pulsating brightly. A gentle hum resonated in the space, vibrating through the very ground they stood on. Agnes closed her eyes, surrendering to the warmth that embraced her like a mother's hug. In her mind, she called out softly, "Samuel, we are here. Send us your love, your strength, your spirit." At once, the energy coalesced, swirling into a gentle luminescence glowing above them, pulsing in rhythm with their hearts. The villagers gasped, some pressing hands to their mouths in awe as they witnessed this profound development. "It's him," Matthew burst out, eyes wide with wonder. And as the glow brightened, it also began to shift, taking on a new form, less corporeal and more ethereal. The villagers remained still, filled with emotion, each person at the edge of realization. It was no longer merely the figure of Samuel they sought, but something deeper, an invitation to connect with the love and healing grace that stretched beyond their immediate experience. Samuel's presence is not confined by our understanding, Agnes whispered, feeling an incredible stillness within her. He embodies our faith, our community, and our love. Just then, amidst the pulsing glow, a voice broke through, ethereal and soft yet brimming with strength. "Trust in the unseen, for there lies the essence of your prayers." Agnes's heart quickened. "Who speaks?" she implored, her voice steadying the crowd. And as the words hung ominously in the air, an undeniable curiosity surged through her. What divine revelation awaited them just beyond the veil of understanding? What paths of healing would unfold? The villagers leaned in, hearts racing in anticipation. The moment was ripe with divine mystery, each soul ready to embrace whatever bounty was to come. What secrets lay hidden just beyond their grasp? And would they have the courage to follow where the light led? The gentle hum embraced them, enveloping each villager in a cocoon of warmth and hope. Eyes luminous with expectation turned toward the pulsing light, each heartbeat synchronizing with the rhythm emanating from that divine source above. Agnes, holding her breath, felt the room shift. This wasn't merely an observation. It was an invitation to partake in something much richer. "Listen," Alara urged, her voice breaking through the rising tension. "What if this voice is not just Samuel? What if it carries words from the divine for us all?" Her eyes sparkled with wonder, and others echoed her thoughts in whispers, fervent yet fearful. Through the soft glow, the voice grew stronger, resonating with a profound clarity that wrapped around their spirits. "In the unseen lies your power. Your faith is the key." The words, though tender, rang like a bell, stilling restless hearts and igniting a fervor of understanding. "Faith," Agnes whispered, the weight of the word unfurling in her heart. She had always known faith was more than mere belief. It was an active force, a living thing connecting them all. Around her, the villagers clutched their hands tighter, each pulse a reminder of their shared journey, their intertwined fates. What does it mean to trust what we cannot see? Mara pondered aloud, her brow furrowed. How can we manifest this essence we feel? Agnes reflected on this question, her heart rushing forward to help. Trust isn't blind. It's the very light that guides us, even in darkness. Each of us carries within a piece of the divine. We each have our own gifts. Let us surrender to them. Slowly, hands began to rise, fingers stretching toward the light as though seeking a touch from the heavenly realm. The villagers leaned into the glow, some closing their eyes, others beaming with newfound resolve. A sense of communion enveloped them, an understanding woven into every heart. "We are more than our fears," Matthew shouted, his voice soaring above the silence. "Together, we can hold the faith strong. Together, we can reach for the divine." With every word, the air thickened with purpose. Agnes felt as though they were on the brink of a magnificent awakening. Many roads lay before us. Let us choose one that leads us not just to Samuel, but deeper into the heart of divine love. The ethereal voice responded, echoing across the gathering. "Seek the light within and share it. Each step taken in faith brings you closer. You are the embodiment of grace." In that moment, each villager felt a connection threading through them, binding their hearts with a potent force. A few began to whisper affirmations, expressions of gratitude flowing freely. "We are loved. We are strong." As they raised their voices in unison, the light pulsed in time with their collective resonance, shimmering brighter in response to their hopes and dreams. Agnes felt tears of joy spill from her eyes as warmth surged within her chest. This was unity, a divine tapestry that the Creator wove from their love and faith. But as the shimmering intensified, a flicker of uncertainty crossed her mind. Could they truly harness their faith to reach the divine? What would happen if they extended their hands but felt nothing in return? The voice had promised light, but in the depths of the heart, shadows always lingered. As if sensing her hesitation, the voice echoed once more, softer yet piercing. "What if the light you seek is already within?" Agnes's brow furrowed, a weight forming in her chest at the profound depth of that statement. Perhaps the essence of their longings lay within their own hearts. Perhaps this was the light they needed to ignite. With a rush of determination, Agnes raised her hands toward the brilliance before them and proclaimed, "Then let us discover this light within. Together, we shall embrace the unseen gifts we hold and share them far and wide." A murmur of agreement spread through the villagers, and in that shared sentiment, hope soared. What awaited them on this journey toward illumination? And would they have the faith to delve deeper into the mysteries of their own souls? The flicker of doubt began to fade as they stepped into the embrace of what was yet to unfold. Thus, in the heart of their gathering, the stage was set for a divine journey, guided by unseen forces. The promise of discovery hung tantalizingly close. What revelations awaited them? And would they dare to uncover the light within? As the flickering luminescence pulsed, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. Agnes stood at the center of a swirling tempest of emotions: faith, fear, hope, and love intertwined like ribbons in a divine tapestry, each thread a testament to their prayerful journey. "Feel it," she whispered, as if sharing a secret with the gathered souls. "This light, it's alive. We are part of it, a living legacy born from our faith." The villagers nodded, hearts swelling with the understanding that they were connected in a profound way, each heartbeat resonating as an echo of love sent heavenward. The gentle warmth enveloped Agnes, wrapping her in a sacred embrace that transcended time and space. She closed her eyes, surrendering to the moment, allowing the divine presence to wash over her like a healing balm. Old Mara raised her arms higher, her eyes locked on the radiant glow. "Look beyond our comprehension. This is the spirit of Samuel, the spirit of healing," she declared, voice steady and powerful. "Here, hope resides." "Samuel," they echoed, voices lifting as if to take flight. "We believe. We call forth your energy." The light shimmered, undulating like waves, responding to their calls with increasing fervor. Agnes felt a shift, as if something mystical was unfurling. The very essence of what they sought was beginning to manifest. What was once a distant yearning now crackled with electricity in the air. "Let go of your fear," Agnes breathed, her voice trembling with certainty. "Embrace this moment. Embrace our strength." At that instant, a soft breeze danced through the gathering, stirring the flames of the candles once more, igniting a deeper longing within them. They stood together at the crossroads of a sacred revelation, surrendering to the divine orchestration unfolding before their eyes. Suddenly, from the heart of the glow, a figure began to emerge, a silhouette bearing the likeness of Samuel. Gasps of joy and disbelief swelled like a wave, flooding the church with collective hope. His form appeared translucent yet undeniably present, embodying the love that resonated through all who gathered. Mother came the soft whisper, a voice that pulled at Agnes as heartstrings like a familiar lullaby, soothing yet potent. Laughter erupted from her lips, tears spilling freely. "Samuel," she called, her heart bursting with overwhelming joy. "You are here. You're with us." But just as quickly, the form flickered, wavering like a flame caught in the wind. Agnes felt dread wash over her like a cold wave. "Stay with us. Don't leave," she implored, her faith mingling with desperation. Mara's voice broke through, fierce and unwavering. "Trust. Trust in what you see, for beyond this moment lies a greater truth." As they grounded themselves in unity, the voice echoed above, clear and resonant. "Your faith has summoned me. Healing flows through all of you, a bond intertwining our souls. I am forever within your hearts." Agnes felt the warmth of that realization settle upon her. "It's not just about physical healing," she shouted into the atmosphere, bravely. "It's about the divine promise illuminating our spirits. Together," she urged, the fervor igniting her words. "Let us manifest this brilliance of love amongst us. Let it overflow not just for Samuel, but for each and every one of us." As one, the villagers raised their hands, palms open, inviting the light to absorb into their very beings. Names were called, prayers lifted higher, forming a cosmic bridge connecting their hearts with the divine. The light enveloped them like a warm embrace, infusing the air with vibrant energy. Somewhere in the progression of faith, hope transformed into tangible support. The essence of healing transcended the individual, radiating like branches of a mighty tree, nourishing each individual soul beneath its leaves. Samuel felt their love weave through him, a gentle presence flowing from the hearts that sought him. He knew his mother and their community would endure, united in faith, finding strength when he could not stand on his own. His spirit soared beyond the confines of earthly limitations, blessed by his mother's unwavering love. That night, fireflies of miracles danced around them. A startling warmth filled the air, and in that sacred space, every doubt, fear, and question faded into vibrant joy. They sang together, voices rising to meet the stars. "Samuel, come back to us," echoed around them. Yet in truth, he had never left. Their bond, fortified by love and prayer, linked their destinies together. As the night deepened, magical transformations happened. Some healed from their burdens of doubt. Others felt tangible releases of fear, and each spirit shone a little brighter, reflecting the loving bond they had nurtured together. No matter what the tangible future held, one thing was clear. A new foundation of faith had been laid, one that would last generations. Agnes embraced this truth with every fiber of her being. She knew that this wasn't just Samuel's miracle. There's a divine testament to areas of their lives permanently transformed by the flames of faith. God is not finished with us yet. She shouted into the celestial night, joy echoing in the heavens above. And so, the celebration continued, united in their divine connection. They shared stories, laughter, and wrapped their arms around one another tightly, hearts glowing with gratitude. Their faith had unveiled the radiant depths of love resting beneath uncertainty. Each soul transformed by the promise that miracles are born of collective belief. In the weeks that followed, the village thrived in a newfound unity. Their stories of faith spread, carried on the breath of every villager, igniting hope in faraway lands. Samuel had become a catalyst for something greater, a beacon of love and healing lighting the path ahead. As they ventured further along their journeys, Agnes often reflected on that night, forever grateful for the divine unfolding. She looked to the light, a star burning bright, and whispered a prayer of thanksgiving. Then she pondered, what journey awaits us next? Dear friends, her heart's symphony played a tune of anticipation, knowing this was just the beginning. You need to subscribe now to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. This is the moment to show your support. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and testimonies about the ending. And don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation.